Hey there, you guys. So I am so enjoying this. If you haven't seen the video of unboxing this amazing Schmincke or Schminky wooden limited edition box, certainly go and check out that video. I have been just playing with the colors and really just digging in, and I just love it. I have not had any experience, surprisingly, with Schminky pans, and so this is my first time. And as I unwrapped them and really started playing with the colors, I realized how amazing it really is that they do a great job with their pans as well. Surprisingly, I do not have a huge amount of experience with the Schmincke pans over the tubes. I primarily have always used the tubes and love them because of their depth of color, the brilliance, the ease of use, and the fact that they have these quality tubes, and they make a really nice 15 ml tube with all of the information on it. It just, they re-wet great. So I make my own pans out of them, and that's been really an economical way. But with that being said, I'm crazy about having this beautiful box and all of these lovely watercolors to experiment with. I like the selection that they provided in this set, and I think that I'm going to have a really good time swatching them out. So in this video, you're going to see a couple of different things. One, we're going to swatch them out. I'm also going to make a really cool backing of color swatches of roses for my wood box here, so that it's not just the regular thing. I actually took the wrappers off and I made a sheet just to swatch with you guys, but then I also went ahead and swatched up some of these colors so that I could see how saturated the colors were right out of the pans. I did find overall that you do need to add water to the pans a little bit before, a few minutes before, but not bad. They were not hard to re-wet. They re-wet very, very quickly. But if you want the best out of your pans and you're just going from your brush right to the paper, you want to make sure that you re-wet them just with a drop of water. It doesn't take much, and let it sit there for just a bit, and then you're going to get the depth of color, more vibrancy, especially in the manganese violet and some of the other colors. Now in this video, I'm also going to let you know which colors I would replace if I ran out of them, or ones that I will be taking out because I don't think that they're necessary. I'll be telling you which ones are transparent, which ones are more opaque, which ones are the most brilliant, and in comparison to other colors that I have by Sennelier, Daniel Smith, White Nights, and Mission Gold, how these line up in comparison with quality and also light fast rating, and just my overall view of these colors and this set. But I can tell you this going into this video, I absolutely love this set. I will have it for decades. I'm so glad that I bought it, and it is definitely my most favorite purchase of my birthday this year. I had thought about it for quite some time, and I'm so glad that I ran into this set again and was able to get it. I do have a lot of other sets coming to this channel this month, so be sure to keep a lookout for that. And this is my, let me just show you this, because you guys mentioned this a lot. This is my studio palette that I actually created myself from another box that I think I had originally bought this, and it was like a pencil set or some kind of set, and it has these two layers. This is just putty that I keep in here just to secure it, by Royal Langnickel. So anyway, they make these boxes, and if you can pick them up on sale, then certainly get them, because you can transform them into your own custom palette filled with all of your favorite watercolors. This is where I keep my base of watercolors that I use so that I can just have access to them. It is not ideal for someone who wants to grab color fast. It is great to catalog your colors, because what happens is, especially in the blues, you mix up which are which. So I have a color key here, and when you are doing this, try and anchor certain like brighter colors every so often, so that way you literally have a point of reference so that you can kind of count how many. Like there's a purple and a green here, and I know these two blues and these are blues. So I can kind of find them because the purples and the blues just dry looking identical, and it's really hard. Even the greens get really crazy. So if you are going to do something like this, then make sure you anchor with colors that are recognizable and get in the habit of either putting putty on the bottom, or you can use, I mean, this has a wood bottom, so the putty works. And then I can pick the pans up and I can put them in maybe something like this, which is like a little mini palette that I was able to get. They have tons of these. These are so cute too. So in any case, or just get your old Schmincke tin, or even like a Sennelier tin that you can make. And I have the making of this actually on my channel too. So there's lots of different things that you can do with these, but this, the benefit of this one by Schmincke is because it is so well organized. So when you look at it, the box is a quality box. It's beautiful, well worth the money. And it has the rails. They can come out and you can clean them. You can put liners underneath so that it doesn't get wet. It doesn't ruin the box. I don't really know if this is treated for water. Not really sure. You've got a beautiful palette here. You know what I mean? So it's organized and it's very, very easy because it's not flooded with too many paints. It's easy for you to find things. You can even, I think, add more colors down in here if you wanted to, or you could pick up this palette and just keep it on the side and put colors there too. So if you did need more than the 48, you could add to it. So in any case, let's get to swatching, because this is, believe it or not primarily a review video on this box. It's mostly about the colors. What I did is I cut the little wrappers off, and I just used some glue and I pasted them here so that we can swatch out the colors and I can tell you very easily what they are. And we're going to make one of these today because I really think this is so much fun to have in here. So when I open my box, I'm actually going to have this here with the labels of the colors on it. So I'm going to show you how to do one of these today, because this is a great way to familiarize yourself with any paints. And this is a perfect set, 48 set, just to do this. So we're going to end up with at least 48 flowers here. That's going to be fun. All right, so what you'll need is a sheet of paper that fits into your box, whatever that is. So you want to pre-cut it, just a piece of watercolor paper that fits into the back. And if you don't have one large enough, depending on the size of your box, then you could just paste, you could do it in 2 sections. I'm going to be using the brushes that came with this box. Some of you mentioned when you got these brushes that they look like they're frayed. I think that's because they're natural hair. I believe that the Da Vinci Cosmo Top Mix 2 is squirrel or natural hair. They look like it. They definitely don't look like synthetic. So if they are fraying a little bit, that goes with the territory of this, but you can also put some brush soap on them and just reshape them. But we're going to use these because why not? Because why not? I say a lot of because why not. I love the color of these brushes. They're beautiful. So as I go through the colors, we're going to add them to this chart here. So we'll just start with the top. Now at the very, very top of this set, there is a gold and a silver, and they are really, really beautiful. They're very transparent. So first, let's just put a little dot of water on our paints here, just so that they're nice and wet by the time we get there. And can I just tell you how easy they are to re-wet? It's insane. I mean, literally, I don't have to spray them. I just put a dot of water on each one, and that's all it takes. By the time I get there, they're re-wet. And they come out vibrant like right away. It's amazing. So little dot, like a pipette would be good. Okay, so the first one is gold, and this one is gold 390 or 893. It's a 4-star rating as far as light fast. And it definitely has this amazing transparent. It says it's semi-transparent. It has an amazing transparency. But also I noticed that, look at how beautiful it is. This brush holds so much water. I probably need to wipe my brush off just a little bit. It has this gorgeous transparency. Can you see it? It's just beautiful. It's like a very, very light shimmering gold. So you could use it as a glaze over something, or you can just work with it in layers because it is it's so transparent. If you put it on a lot thicker though, I noticed that it's something that you can get, you know, quite a bit of color out of it. So in doing these little kind of like flowers, what I recommend, especially since we have to label them eventually, you probably will want to label them. It's kind of fun to get to know the colors, is make sure that on the lower portion, there's actually a little bit thicker part of the flower or somewhere on it. Okay, let's rinse out our brush and go to the next one. This is silver. Brush is so full of water. Silver, and this is number 894, and it has a light fast of 5 stars. That's amazing. And it's just this like pearlescent silvery shade. It's so pretty. See the silver and gold? It's like, it's got a, you could definitely cause like glaze over a color with this because the transparency, it's like semi-transparent, but it definitely has the ability to glaze over. So on our roses, we're actually going to do some really cool glazes with these, although I did dedicate two flowers to them, which I don't really know because honestly, and then the white, we're really not going to put a white on the rose because there's just no point. You can't even see it. The white is 101. What we would use the white for normally is you would want to use the white for making like pastel colors. So it's nice that the white's included. It's not really necessary, but when you have a 48 color set, you know, it's kind of nice because it expands the range of colors that you can get by giving you a white. The next one is lemon yellow, one of my favorite colors to work with. And it is so beautiful. It looks very transparent. It's really pretty. There's 215. I actually should have put the bar on here, but you can see it here. It's very, very transparent. 215 is the name of the number of it. So I'm actually going to add the yellow to my silver here. And I'm going to create a nice little thing down there. I love big yellow flowers. They're so pretty. The next one is another yellow. So they give you a cool yellow and a warm yellow, which is usually a typical move when you get these pan sets. There should always be a cool yellow and a warm yellow because that expands your range and allows you to mix a lot of colors. I love this yellow though. Cadmium yellow light. It is really beautiful. I can't imagine it being any more brilliant. I mean, it truly is. And it's transparent, 4-star rating. Just beautiful. Look at that color sitting right next to it. It's so pretty. Just brilliant. Okay, the next one is transparent yellow. And it's funny because the actual swatch of this looks like quinacridone gold, but it isn't. It almost looks like Danielle Smith's Azu. Is it Azo? Nickel Azo yellow? And that is right here. You see what I mean? It's got that quality. So their transparent yellow is a lot like Danielle Smith's Nickel Azo. I can get the same things to happen with it. So look at that. So if you move the color and you play with the transparent nature of it, you can get really, really light, just like the Nickel Azo yellow. So there is something in this set that is just like one of my favorite colors by Danielle Smith, which was interesting to me because I did not know this existed. I hadn't even thought about if there was a color in Schmincke that was like it. And I'd be interested to know who originated this color, because this transparent yellow, this is a company that's over 100 years old, 209. I mean, what came first? You know what I mean? I kind of think that they probably had this beautiful transparent yellow, and Danielle Smith looked to create something, that had a little bit of granulation and had that beautiful mix that kind of, it reminds me of Quin Gold a lot, the way it is, but a yellow version. So I'm just kind of like layering this through. Remember, I'm leaving as much of the deeper texture in here too, because we definitely want. But isn't this nice? It's like a really great way to see your colors and have just a beautiful sampling of everything. So the next one is Jaune Brilliant Dark, and it's 221. And this is going to be a little more opaque than anything else, but it is incredible, especially mixed with the gold. This would be good for making skin tones too. So we're just going to go ahead and mix right over the other one. But see, I left this section right here because we're going to put a label on it. So pretty. Next one is number 229, and it's Naples Yellow. This is a very thick feeling paint, and it's opaque. Very similar to the one before it. Yeah, these are so similar. But what I am going to do is I'm going to show you what gold looks like with it, because we're going to put a little gold with this one. And this one. Just to make things a little more interesting. So pretty. And I think I'm going to put a little silver now that these are starting to dry. I'm going to move a little silver in with this. And put a little silver here. Just to make it, just makes it a little more interesting. Okay. And as far as traveling, I mean, these just have beautiful qualities to their movement. You know what I mean? They're just going to be just, I'm already enjoying this, and I'm just swatching. Okay. Yellow Ochre is my next one. A lot of a lot of yellow ochres tend to be very, very thick and opaque. This is a semi-transparent one, but I'm going to lay it on nice and thick and then just kind of go down. Yeah, it's very, very, very beautiful. So we're going to put this here. I've made my roses really large, and because I do want them to overlap so that we can see how nice these colors actually are. So semi-transparent, I feel like, I mean, if you get a lot on your brush, it doesn't feel semi-transparent. It definitely feels as opaque as the other ones, yet, I don't know. I think it's really beautiful though, right? I want to see. Yeah, they're so pretty. They're so pretty, it's distracting. It's like I lose my way. Next is 661, and this is sienna or burnt sienna. Semi-transparent. It's really beautiful. So it dried nice. Very nicely. And they give this a lot of nice color here. Pretty. I really like doing these rose swatches. I think they're so much more fun. So the next one is 649, and it's English Venetian Red. This one moves so well. Look at that. It just spreads on its own. So pretty. Look at that. So gorgeous. So I'm going to add water here and let this just kind of spread out. So when I see one that spreads really, really well, I kind of just like add a little water next to it and encourage it to go, because that's going to be my reminder in my samples of what, you know, what has movement. And because this yellow ochre is granulating, I'm just kind of dropping a little more water on it and encouraging it to just do what it wants, you know, even if it gets messy, because that's what this is for. You know, you want to see the qualities of the paint. You don't just want it to be, you know, perfect little streaks. You want the messiness on this because it's so much fun. You want to see what this does, you know. I mean, look at that. You see what I did? Isn't that beautiful? So I just kind of put a little water there, and I'm encouraging it just to grow and do what it wants. These are looking so pretty. I love these. Okay, and last one in this line here, in this first row, is Indian Red, 645, high light fast rating. Opaque, but look at how well it moves. I mean, look at that. You add water and it does things that are so special and beautiful. So, and it's very similar color to the one before it. So pretty. Let's encourage it to bleed. See what it does. And I'm just encouraging it to go right off the edge of my paper, you know, as I want to be reminded when this all dries of how incredible these things move and it encourages the different shades to come out, you know, in such a small space. I'm just gonna give this a little water here, just to encourage some of the shadows and the lights. So I want these ones to show off some of their beauty. Okay. This is really beautiful. Now, you remember, you can always go back with your brush and a little more color and add a little detail to it, maybe another shade of the same color to it, you know. So I just kind of went in and filled it in so that I could enhance the bright yellow of that piece. All right, let's go to the next row. The next row, these are looking so nice, is quinacridone gold, one of my favorite colors. I'm going to get a lot on my brush. You notice how just putting the brush in, it's just, I mean, I don't have to work very hard at all. It just comes. 217, and this is a light fast rating of 4. God, I love this color. Now, if you look at this color and then you look at one of my favorite Daniel Smith colors, which is Aussie Red, to me, their Aussie Red is Schmincke's quinacridone gold. I really think they are the same. So this is the quinacridone gold, and you can see Daniel Smith's quinacridone gold is really the same. Aussie Red is almost identical to this, but it's got the qualities of the Aussie Red, and it's got the qualities of the Quin Gold. So if you took the two together, I feel like you would get this. So it's like, I really, really love the fact that it gives us this. And I think I could mix probably a touch of red into this and get even that beautiful orange sunset that I get the color from the Aussie by Daniel Smith. And then I would have the granulation, and I would have all of the beauty of the Quin Gold, you know. So do I need to have Daniel Smith with this set? No, not really. There's only a few colors that, you know, are probably fugitive, actually, you know, like Moon Glow. I love Moon Glow, but I can make a Moon Glow with this set that doesn't, you know, that doesn't lose its light fastness. This is so pretty. Okay, so by going over some of the little white areas with a little water, not getting rid of all my light areas, I'm able to bring out some of the beautiful, some of the really beautiful color of that Quin Gold. Isn't it pretty? Okay. Yeah, you can see why. Oh, no, I didn't do the swatch. All right, hang on. We'll go back. So the next one is 220, and it is Indian Yellow. Indian Yellow is a yellow that I cannot believe I don't use it more often, but now that I have it, I'm going to use it a lot. It's one of those yellows that I just overlook whenever I'm buying yellows, because I always end up here with these, and not anymore, because I have it in this set, and now that I have this experience with it, I'm definitely going to be using it a lot. It's really pretty. It's a great color. Okay, let me go back to my Quin Gold and just swatch this out. Yeah, this is so pretty. Gosh, and kind of diluted, it has this beautiful, really light, like a beautiful warm yellow to it. It's just, I love these colors. I can't even imagine painting badly with these colors. So the next one is Chromium Yellow Deep, and it's 213. This one only has a light fast of 3. It kind of does have a lot of brilliant orange in it. That's probably why. It's less light fast, but it's a 3. I mean, it's not that, you know, it's no tragedy. Put a little rose here. So pretty. Yeah, it's pretty. Would I need this? No, not really. I could really do without chromium yellow deep because I'm pretty happy with Indian yellow and I'm thrilled with quinacridone. I can't imagine, you know, not being able to get a color like this with a higher light fast rating. Let's go to the next one, chromium orange hue, which we probably could get our light fast rating out of chromium orange hue, you know. This one has got 4 stars. It's a beautiful, rich orange. So pretty. Does it travel? Yes, it does. These, yes, they do. Look at that. So pretty. Okay, can I say so pretty one more time? This is, you know, you have to swatch your colors before you go to bed at night because it's just the most relaxing thing to do. And now that I've given you like something to actually paint in your color swatches, now you can go and just chill out and do it. Transparent orange is this one. I have never worked with transparent orange, and I have to say I am in love with it. This is 218. I'm completely and utterly in love with this color. And I just didn't even, I never considered it. Probably because it only has a light fast rating of 3. And I could get this by mixing one of my reds with my Queen Gold, and then I would have something that was both better light fast rating but also granulating for some really interesting effects. So I could probably just get that. Where am I at? So the next one is the last one in this red row here in row 2, and this is cadmium red light 349. Yeah, you can tell this is very opaque, but oof, it is so brilliant. So this is a great color for when you're doing something that is very neutral and you just want like a pop of color, or you want something that ends up being really, really brilliant. This is a great color for that. Yeah, really pretty. So I hope you guys have grabbed your latest paint set, the latest addition to your paints, and are swatching alongside of me here. The next one is 668. This has a very high light fast rating, and it is burnt umber. So a lot of people use burnt umber to make a neutral and to make several colors. So I recommend that you take burnt umber and you just go to it and see what you can make with it, and get really involved with it to see what it can do for you and where it has a place in your paintings, your little painting journey, you know, because it's a very high light fast rating, which is why people use it and use it in mixes very often. You can see that it's just it dries very smoothly. It's a great staple to pretty much any palette, and that's why you see it in all the masters palettes, and lots and lots of people use it so often. So I'm just going to encourage this to kind of blend through a little bit. Pretty. Next one is sepia brown. Usually not one I use very often, but I did notice that I really like the color for earths. You know, this would be a great color to get a, you know, if I had a moody landscape and I had some trees that it needed some shadowing, this would be the color that I would use for that. And also in winter, when we do winter scenes, this is kind of like a really nice tone to it that you could use in the winter scenes to, you know, to also bring in some shadows. It plays well with others too. So yeah, would I buy it outside of a palette? Probably not. I don't know that I would buy this separately, but now that I have it, I definitely will be using it, and I would probably replace it once it ran out. This next one is Payne's Gray Bluish. And you know what? I've never used this one and I love it. It reminds me of some indigo colors that I've had uh, in different palettes, and I absolutely am in love with it now that I know that it exists here in Schmincke. This is it layered. You can get a really, really interesting gray that's almost opaque, but here's like a lighter swatch of it, and you can see the blue tones. It's just beautiful. Really, really pretty. It's got this, gosh, the blue in it just is incredible. The blue tones just make me happy in this neutral. I would actually even mix it with French Ultra, you know. I'm gonna see if it granulates. Yeah, I would mix this with French Ultra and just let it be a really beautiful, moody. I would even, you could do a whole painting just with this one neutral shade. It'll make great urban paintings. The fact that it's got the blue, there's just so much you can do. Can you imagine like painting this and then having a shot of red in there? Would be really beautiful together. The next one is number 782. Doesn't have a huge light fast rating, but it's neutral tint. A lot of people use neutral tint. It's like a staple. I don't use neutral tint. This one has almost like a purplish color to it. So it's nice. It's really, really nice, but I don't know that I would use it a lot. Like some people do a whole painting in neutral tint, but it doesn't have a great light fast rating. It's okay, but it's not great. So you're going to lose. It could fade. You literally could fade your, you know, I don't know how quickly. Probably would take a lot, but there are so many other colors that you could do a whole painting in. I don't think we need neutral tint because you can make neutral tint by some of the other ones. But as far as like these two together, I really love the way they look together because you've got like kind of like a purple kind of cast to this neutral tint, and then you next to the blue, they look so nice together. You know, I don't know. It's light fast of 3, so that's not too bad. And almost at the end here. So the last one is Ivory Black, and then after that, there's Oxgall, which is a wetting agent that just makes it move even more, you know. So I'm not going to swatch it because it just comes out clear. So cool. I like the black. There's a beautiful ebony kind of quality to it. When that dries and I add some gold, that will be really pretty. And we can go ahead and let it travel just so we could get the nice little gray qualities out of it. And this has an excellent light fast rating. So literally you could use I would rather use the ivory black with a lot of light fast rating and add a little bit of color to it to tint it up rather than use the neutral tint, because if the neutral tint doesn't have a heavy light fast rating, then obviously you can do a lot with the ivory black because it does. Amazing that they can't get a neutral that has the kind of light fast rating that ivory black does. So here so far, we're doing good. The colors are amazing. Isn't this a fun way to swatch out your colors? And don't forget, I can go back and I can get a bunch of this gold and just kind of add another dimension to our flowers, and also see, you know, what the gold, it's not really opaque, you know, it's not like I have some gold sets that are so interesting because they're very, very opaque and they're really not expensive. But this is more like a transparent layer, you know, that you would use, but that has a really nice shine to it. Very beautiful. Okay, let's move this up. Can you see? Yeah. Oh, here they go. Here come the neat colors. Okay, so Scarlet Red is our next one. This is one of my favorite reds. Wets really easily. So far, I haven't been mentioning how they wet because they just wet perfectly. You know, that's Scarlet. I mean, I don't even have to work. I put one drop earlier on this whole set, and that's where we're at still. Beautiful. So beautiful. Let it breathe just a bit. And then I might go back and even sweeten up the color just a bit more. Next one is Paline Maroon, which I've never worked with this color. I've never seen it in any other set. 366 is the number. Beautiful color. And this is just scratch paper. There's my husky. It's time. No, hang on. Okay, I think I got rid of the dogs. Sorry about that if that scared you. So this is the Scarlet Red and this is the Perline Maroon. The Perline Maroon is beautiful when wet and then it dries very, very light, almost like, I don't know, I want to say it looks kind of like an antique painting, you know? It's got like a French kind of look to it. It doesn't dry like bright, but you know, that's how watercolors are. Not a lot of them dry super, super fluorescent-y bright, you know, and you really don't want them to. I find that more expensive watercolors, that's really pretty, Perline Violet. More expensive watercolors have some of those qualities, you know. They have some that will dry really less vibrant. And that's okay. I mean, as long as you know what to expect, you know, and what you're looking to do with your color and your painting, then it's not a big deal. This is the Perline Violet, number 371, and it's got a high light fast rating. It says it's very opaque. And it definitely dries. Like I did a very, very dark swatch on it before. So I can add more here. So far we've got some gorgeous, gorgeous colors in the set, and they're performing so well. If you want more brilliant color, then I wanted you to see this. It will, even the scarlet red, like in my paper, it's just soaking it up, right? So you just get more in your brush, and you just can add more and get even like more brilliancy. So I'm just adding another layer because I did them very, very light on here. I did them much more, like just more concentrated, I would say. It wasn't that I went back and layered them. I just did them more concentrated. And that's why I like to do several, because sometimes you might be in the mood to just paint a lot lighter, and it's not giving the paint enough time and experience on your palette. You know what I mean? Like, you need to give it, let it have its journey with you. Because if you don't give it enough time, sometimes you could judge a paint and not like it, and then you realize you just weren't really using it or seeing what it could do. And that's really important, especially right now, because I'm literally just taking the paint on my brush right from the pan. I'm not mixing it. I'm not like working with it. I'm just taking it from the pan and just giving it, you know, a chance in this very, very raw state. That's probably not the best, you know, experience with the color, but at the same time, we're getting it almost at its worst, right? Because it doesn't have time to really like sit with us at all. It's just kind of coming right off the pan, going right onto the paper, and just drying, and that's it. I mean, the only thing I'm allowing it to do right now is occasionally I let it bleed, and that's it. Oh, look at that. I re-wet those, and they traveled just so quickly. That's pretty amazing. Cool. That's pretty neat. Permanent carmine. Carmine is, I would say, my favorite red pink. Well, of the reds, it's my favorite red in everything. Like the White Nights carmine is the most beautiful color. It's so pretty, and it just paints so well. This one does too. This one's really nice. Permanent carmine. So pretty. Oops, sorry. So we did Madder Red Dark, which is like a rose madder, 354, and then Permanent Carmine. They look very similar, but they're not. Permanent Carmine is more pink, not as dusty. It's a little brighter. It's got a lot of like a more blue tone to it. It's really pretty. Isn't it pretty? Okay, so let's let it travel a little bit. It's my favorite part. I literally just want to wet the whole page and just let it work its magic and see what happens. And last in this row here is magenta. I am so lucky. I mean, for my birthday, I got this set, and I'm so excited, and I can't believe my dog's ready to give me a hard time again. I have 2 of them, just in case. That's Misty. She's too much. Okay, I think she's gone. She's probably scaring you. She's cute, though. Okay. Oh, this is so pretty. Okay, so the magenta, I would say this is a great like opera, like an opera rose or opera pink. Um, the magenta could totally be a substitute for that and have probably a better light fast rating because opera rose will fade over time. This one at least has a 3 light fast rating. It's number 352. It's really nice. Okay, so that is the that is another row. So I'm marking on here this little thing for rows, and that way, like if I do use this chart, I kind of know I have to go down to the next row. So let's go and let's see how fast these re-wet and what strength I grab. So this is 474 and this is manganese violet. I love this color actually. This is always a pleasure to paint with. And this one's beautiful. It's very transparent. You could mix this in with other colors too, just to give it that little, that extra flavor, you know? So pretty. Actually, I should have probably put this one over here. It doesn't matter. We will know what it is, that's for sure. Yeah, so pretty. Okay, so the next one. Oh my goodness, I can't believe she's back. So you got first-hand naughtiness from my dogs today. That's funny. First-hand naughtiness. So I noticed with the manganese violet, you can't really get a huge amount of strength out of this. You would have to mix it with something. It's very, very light, but at the same time, I love the quality of it. You know what I mean? I love the fact that it is light because you need something like that every once in a while. But it's not as heavy. I mean, like you can layer it and you get this beautiful, beautiful color. There are some other colors though that are very similar. If you wanted something like this, is to me very similar to the Sennelier Cobalt Violet Deep, number 913, and that is partially granulating. It also maybe, if you're a Mission Gold person, the bright clear violet is close to it, or the dioxazine. No, that's a little bit more blue. Maybe the Schmincke, yeah, manganese violet. It's so pretty. No, you can layer it. If you layer it, I think that just maybe the pan. So this is the first one in the pan that I'm not getting it. Yeah, it is very, very light in the pan. So, okay, so this is the first one that I feel like in the pan it's lighter than the tubes. Not in, it's in weight, it's lighter. Like in transparency, it's lighter than in color. The next one is Ultramarine Violet, $4.95. Okay, so re-wetting them, I know what I did differently. So re-wetting them, you should put water on them and let them sit just a little bit. Otherwise, if you're noticing I'm getting like a really high transparency and I'm not getting as much of depth of color as I feel like they could give me. And I just noticed it now. So I'm gonna finish this rose here. And let's do this. Let's get some clean water. And just, I wasn't really going to spray these, but I think I can spray them without spraying too much. I worry about tin and spraying it because I feel like sometimes when you spray tin it will rust, but there's no humidity where I am, so it's not likely to really have a problem. So let's just spray these just a little bit because I just don't want us to get a bad impression of them, or like, you know, think that they're lighter than they really are, because they're really not. And that's why I have my regular swatches from my tubes. Delft Blue, 482, and this has a really nice light fast rating. She's back. I can hear her behind me. This is a gorgeous blue. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like everything you could possibly want in a blue. Look at that. I've never worked with this color before, and it's now my favorite blue. It's beautiful. It's insane. What would it be close to? Don't start bothering things, little husky. So it also looks like, yeah, it's kind of close to a ultramarine, but no, it's got like more navy qualities to it. Almost maybe some Prussian. Doesn't look like anything else. Really doesn't. Like, there's not anything that I've ever worked with before that has this color. Would I get this alone? Yes. This one, look at that. Oh my goodness. I would get this alone. That is nice. I think that's my new favorite blue. It's beautiful. Let's go to the next one, which is indigo. Taking time with your colors is so important. You learn so much and you see so many things that you would never see if you didn't take this time, you know, to enjoy them. Oh, I'm still so crazy over this color next to it. It's just beautiful. Really pretty. Why does the indigo does not look, oh no, I didn't. I skipped over the indigo here. This is ultramarine finest. I thought that looked odd. Oops. All right, let's see how lifting this is. Let's try and lift it. So I'm just going to add some water. And, oh, look at that. Nice. And this is just on like sketchbook paper. Oh my gosh, I can completely lift this. That's really, really cool. Unbelievable. I didn't even do lifting tests yet for lifting. I was going to do that like on this now that it's dry. Okay, so sorry. I went back. So here's our indigo. Oh yeah, beautiful inky indigo with the blue qualities. Ugh, just gorgeous, but terrible light fast rating. That's the only problem with that indigo. So what you would have to do is make an indigo out of the black, and perhaps I would just make it out of this ultramarine finest and black. And if you want an indigo that that has a lot of granulation, then don't use the finest, use the regular ultramarine. Why did they put the finest one in here, I wonder? They've been promoting that a lot more lately, but it's non-granulating. It's like one of the least granulating ultramarines that I've ever seen. But I love it though. It's really beautiful. Beautiful color. But like there's so many granulating ones like ultramarine French Ultra by Schmincke is a beautiful color and it granulates. Sinele Ultra Deep is wonderful. White Nights Ultramarine is exquisite. It's just such a beautiful color. It's one of my favorite ultramarines, and it's a white night. This one is Mountain Blue. It's really pretty. This is a great like sky blue. Yeah, wetting them a little bit beforehand is definitely how to get the best out of your pans as far as like having your colors be more brilliant. I can't believe that indigo has a terrible light fast rating. You know, yeah, and it even fades out right away. Yeah, that's the one. I think that's just the one disappointing color in this performance-wise in this kit. So I would probably just switch it out and take it out of here altogether. I can see I really don't like what it's doing. Like I would replace it with the Winsor Newton Indigo is a really nice one that holds its color a lot better. I have to check the light fast rating and see what it is, but you know, first to get that really nice little inky quality. Yeah, the Winsor Newton Indigo is right there. And it's really, really pretty. It's right there. It's beautiful. Or even just use a Prussian. Schmincke Prussian is a great color. Okay, so we're done with that row. Can I move this up? Now we're going to do the Prussian. This is a beautiful color. So you could mix Prussian with the black and you would have a decent light fast rating. Next is 484, and this is Phthalo Blue. Oh, we're gonna have some fun. They're re-wetting way better now that I just put a little bit of water on them beforehand and gave them a second. Really pretty. Helio Cerulean. This is one of my favorite blues. Very familiar with it. 479, and it has an excellent light fast rating. I literally use this in almost every landscape, sky, everything. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. It's got a nice light fast rating. It mixes well, plays well with others. And people just love it. I actually do monochromatic work in that color all the time because it's just so pretty. Running out of room. I wonder if these are dry. Yeah, they're dry. Let's see if I can put them under. And I just don't know if I can weigh it down. Let's weigh it down with this. Is this wet? Still a little wet. Probably gonna make a mess. There we go. Next is Helio Turquoise, another gorgeous, gorgeous color. It's got that brilliant turquoise. In the trials, you guys were asking me what this color was. Now you know. All-time favorite color. Besides cobalt. This is cobalt turquoise. Now remember, guys, some of these blues, they can be toxic, especially to animals. So definitely don't get in the habit of putting your paintbrush in your mouth. I know it sounds strange, but some people, they just unconsciously do strange little quirky things like that when they're thinking, and you don't want to ingest any heavy metals. So professional paints are not like baby safe. That's why they have such incredible brilliancy. So if you're worried about toxins in your paints, definitely look up your professional grades and make sure that you know what you're dealing with, because some of them, they do have properties from real minerals, chromium, things like that. They haven't all gone, like they haven't found ways around it necessarily. Let me pull this up because I don't want to paint my ceramic. So this is a beautiful Prussian. It's called Prussian green. I would rather use this than the indigo, because I can always add a little bit of black to it if I wanted to. It's got a decent light fast rating. So if I were going to look for something that I would use as an indigo, it would be Prussian green. I love the color. It's so pretty. And I would use that instead of Payne's Gray Bluish. I would use this more often. So for monochromatic work, that's something that, me personally, that's just my choice. But I really like that one. I love the color. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful. Hi, Misty. She's here. She's back. Okay, so we're going on to this last row. I'm going to do the greens. These are going to be beautiful. Phthalo green is always a shade you should have in your palette because it's just gorgeous and decent light fast rating too. Transparent, mixes and plays well with others. Can't say enough good things about this green. It does well with the pinks, you can play it against the purples. It's bright for what it is. It's really super bright color. May green is something new to me. I have not used May green before. I really like it. This is my second time swatching May green, and it's a beautiful color. 524, and it has a decent light fast rating for a green this bright. I think that's pretty incredible, to tell you the truth. Stunning color. Just stunning. One of the most stunning colors in this whole set. Cobalt Green Dark is a great color. It reminds me of Cascade Green by Daniel Smith. So if you're a Daniel Smith lover, you will love this color. But this color has granulation, and it also has one of the top light fast ratings. So you can actually mix this color with other colors to help improve the light fast rating, to give more depth to your paintings and more depth to your colors. Just with a green, you always want to make sure that you test out what you're going to mix it with so that you don't get like more of a muddy a muddy mix, but it is just an incredible color to have in your palette. And look at how neat they look together. Like, this looks great next to the Prussian green, and this looks amazing next to the purples, you know, amazing even with pinks. So it's just yeah, beautiful green. So in comparison, no, Misty, stop it, I would look at the Schmincke Pure. Well, no, I would think, God, it's almost like a Van Dyke green, but not. Cobalt Green Dark by Schmincke is the closest to Cobalt Green, maybe by Mission Gold or by Daniel Smith. I think the Daniel Smith one. It's even prettier, though, than the Cascade Green by Daniel Smith. See the Cascade Green by Daniel Smith? It kind of fades. You know what I mean? And it doesn't like have that depth of color. I think it's actually nicer. On this one that I did earlier this week, you can see how beautiful it dries. It's a solid color. It's really, really nice. And it's got nice granulation in it. I said that already. Okay. The next one is Perylene Green. And it's 784. Great light fast rating. Ooh, look at that. It travels really well, considering it's beautiful. This dries a lot, like very, very matte. So to get a really deep version of it, you have to get a lot more paint on your brush. And it will dry very matte. I'll show you what it dries like. It's right there. So in a really nice concentrated version, it dries very, very dark and very matte. Where here it kind of looks more foresty. However, I see a lot of people using this in their backgrounds, just smudging it, because they love the way that you can, you know, put accents of color over it. So maybe use it more transparent and just smudge it up, you know. Then the almost last one is Permanent Green Olive, and this is 534. Yes. What a pretty color that is. I haven't really seen any colors that aren't really beautiful. There's just a couple here that I could definitely live without, you know, but for the most part, oh my goodness. And this box set, this box is gorgeous. It is such a high quality made box. I feel like it's been treated, because when it gets wet, it's not sinking in, it's just beading on top, you know. Permanent Green Olive is a must. That's a beautiful color right there. And last is Olive Green. Olive Green is 525. So unless I mentioned that it had a bad light fast rating, you can just assume that all of these colors had a good light fast rating. Just put this in the corner. Put baby in the corner. I'm just going to fill in some of these little areas here. Yummy. This looks so good. I love it. As far as things as they dried that we needed to go back in with, I feel like the Prussian blue wasn't as heavily concentrated as it needed to be. But also, remember, this was the one that I did not wet before I grabbed the color. And so now that I wet it, you can see the difference and how that really does transform things. You know, I got a lot more out of it by pre-wetting it. So that made a huge difference in what you get from your color. Yep, really makes a difference. Same I would have to say with this Phthalo Blue, because Phthalo Blue usually performs a lot brighter for me because I use it constantly. And yeah, that's exactly what I did wrong. I didn't realize that I hadn't pre-wet the bottoms. So it's not that these dried super light, it's just that they just didn't, I didn't get enough color onto my brush in order to get a really good sampling of them. Helios Cerulean, I'm going to go ahead and go over because we all know that these colors are huge. They're brilliant. There aren't really like anything like them, but pans definitely need to be re-wet, like for a little bit. They need to sit for a bit. So that's something I have to always remember that I don't have to do with my tubes, is I just put the color down and bam, you know. The Helio Turquoise, man, I love that shade. It's so, so pretty. Just brightening it up a little bit there. There we go. What else? This one didn't really have a shot. I'm not really sure why. It's the Ultramarine Finest, and I feel like, is that the Ultramarine Finest? No. I feel like it just should have been brighter. And I believe maybe it's just that I didn't wet it enough. I mean, it's next to the Indigo, so it should be Ultramarine Finest. Let's just give it a little more. We'll give it a little more color. Let's give it a little more chance. Oh yeah, that's better. Yeah, so my big lesson learned with pans that I had forgotten, because I primarily work with tubes, was that you just have to really let them sit in water for just a little bit, even if it's just a dot, just a little dot, because it will really make a difference. Okay, so there's our roses. They look really good. They look amazing. So the top looks very light, of course, because we have our lemon yellow up here. And I put some silver, so I'm just gonna kind of fill in this area just so that we have a really nice showing of the lemon yellow and also of the what was that second yellow called? It is, hang on, don't want to be hasty and then yank this out and spill it all over. Cadmium. So I went back and gave them another layer. I'm going to clean off my yellow because it's got a little bit of blue in it. Well, these are just beautiful. And overall, okay, so there's our backing. So I'm going to go back and label this in a little bit. Really pretty. I love how it turned out. So that'll be really fun to sit in the back, and it's going to look a lot like this, except with the label. So that's a really fun thing to look at in the back rather than just traditional swatches, I think, you know. But with that being said, I can always put this one back here. I made it anyway. I'm always going to do this with the wrappers because I really like having all of the detail information, and I just kind of, whenever I'm using the paint, it's nice to have that as a reference, you know, without having to do it. And I feel like collectors wise, this is such a great investment. I would never sell it, but decades from now, when I'm still using it, I'm going to have this original sheet that I've created. And so I'm going to date it on the back and always keep it with this set. And that way I always have the papers and everything as it originally was when it came out of this box. Because over time, I have no doubt that I will be replacing pans that I don't use, getting rid of like the indigo. Let's put a little I'm going to put a little star next to the ones that I would get rid of. So I would get rid of the indigo because it doesn't have a great light fast rating. I would get rid of the neutral tint because I feel like it's unnecessary and we could mix that. The sepia brown doesn't really do anything for me, so that would open that spot. I would probably choose one of these, and I think I like the June Brilliant Dark better than the Naples Yellow, although I feel like I need more time with the Naples Yellow, so I haven't really made that decision yet. The Queen Gold's got to stay. That's incredible. The white can stay because it will make some really beautiful pastels. One of these can definitely go. As far as English Venetian Red, I've never used it. And the Indian Red, I don't really know. I mean, I have to have more time with it, but they both look so incredibly similar, even though they're really not. So when I swatched it on this sheet, I noticed that the Venetian Red has a lot more red brown, and the Indian Red has a lot more different qualities. Like they both have the same light fast rating, which is excellent. They both have the same clarity, weight, but yet this one just looks pinkier and like prettier to me. So I think I would get rid of the Venetian Red because I don't really need two that are that similar. And if you're going to keep the burnt sienna, which has more usefulness, I don't really need two of these red tones. I'd rather keep the pinkier one and get rid of the red one. Again, these are really tough to decide between, but we don't really need them both. Maybe Naples Yellow is kind of more skin tone and has a little more different qualities to it, but they're so similar. The light fast ratings are almost identical. The weights are identical. We just don't need them both, so we could definitely shave one off. I just haven't decided which one yet. As far as these two yellows, between the Chromium Yellow Deep and the Indian Yellow, I would keep the Indian Yellow and get rid of the Chromium Yellow Deep, just because the Chromium Yellow Deep doesn't need to be there. It's almost identical. Indian Yellow has a better light fast rating than the Chromium Yellow Deep does. And as far as these two oranges, the transparent orange versus the chromium orange hue, the chromium orange hue has a better light fast rating than the transparent orange. Now, a lot of people swear by transparent orange, but I still would rather have the light fast rating than anything else. So if I was going to get rid of one of these, it would definitely be the transparent orange, and I would just keep that probably in another palette. Would I rebuy it? Nope, not necessarily. I don't think it's like really necessary for me. The cadmium red light I love. It's just a beautiful color, got great transparency. Burnt umber, awesome. The Payne's gray bluish, I actually really like that, and it's got a decent light fast rating. I feel like we could blue it up even more, and it's so similar to the indigo that the indigo can go. The ultra finest ultramarine, I feel like I could definitely switch that out for a better ultramarine, but we're still going to keep it here because the category still is going to be filled. The mountain blue is a beautiful color. I don't know that I would need it if I had ultramarine, but still, it's a beautiful color. It's a nice convenience color to keep around. They are very, very similar though. Ultramarine's a little more purplish. The mountain blue is a little more in the bluish, but it's also very, very similar to the Prussian blue, and the Prussian blue is definitely something I would keep. So mountain blue would probably be replaced. Phthalo blue would stay. Helio cerulean stay. Helio turquoise definitely stay. Cobalt blue, have to keep that. Prussian green, that would stay. I really like that. It's very, very similar to Helio turquoise. So if you did want to make a, if you did want to possibly replace it, you could. If you look on this sample though, the Prussian green is a little more blue, and it's funny because it's maybe a little more green, but it looks a little more like teal, and the Helio turquoise is brighter, so this is a little more matte. So technically we're not apples to apples here. They're very different. Phthalo green, got to keep that. May green, definitely keep. Cobalt green dark, love it, it's beautiful. Praline green, Perylene green. I think I would have to have more time with this, but I love the fact that I have one of these in this palette that I know works really well in backgrounds and might be a good contrast to some bright colors. Permanent green olive. I love that color. It's really, really pretty. It's like a forest green. Olive green, I don't know that I would use. I probably could find something else that might go in that place, but it's not really at this point something that's bothering me for any reason. It's got good light fast ratings and it is different in the set. So that's my review of the colors. I'll be doing a lot more here with the Schmincke stuff. I hope you guys enjoy, not Schmincke, what am I doing? Schmincke Horadam. I hope you guys enjoy the swatches. I have so many more to do. I literally went crazy in bringing in some new watercolors and some new sets. So I hope you guys will stick around. If you stuck around this long on this video, then you certainly are as much of an addict to watercolor as I am, and I'm happy to have you here. Guys, have a great one and have a really good night. I will talk to you again soon. Happy painting.